Good, good. Another live today, right? Excellent to see everybody here. So, today, what I want to talk about is basically, as you see, the title says, The Secret I Use to Manifest Anything I Desire. So, there's a lot of different techniques and all this stuff around that you can use to manifest stuff. You can do the 2-cup method. You can do the 5-5-5 method. You can do all these different type of techniques. You can do the water technique. You can do all this stuff, all these different techniques. But the key is, good morning, everybody. The key is, what makes them work. What makes these techniques work. So I'm going to share with you what I did and what I believe is my secret. And I actually believe this is the key to manifesting anything. And once you can get to this point, then I believe that you will definitely you'll be on your way to really creating a lot of abundant stuff, or manifesting a lot of abundant stuff in your life. So what would that be? Have you used SATs? What is SATs, and did it work? I'm gaining so much ground, winning scratch off tickets. Good for you. Good to hear. We're all ready to hit that live. Good. Morning, everybody. Morning. Let's quick comment here. Mark, do you mind sharing the process of instant flow state? I am one. Well, someone got the secret I was going to put out to you to manifest in anything. The secret I use is it's a state of being. If you're not in a state of being, this particular state of being, all your techniques you're doing to manifest, they won't really work. And they won't, when I mean work, when you want something consistently. You don't want something like you get it and in a couple months it goes away, you get it, and then you got to do it over again. When you want something, right, you manifest something. I'm thinking the goal is to have something that you can like keep it, like build on it. That's what I'm thinking. So right. So secret to manifest anything, falling in love with it? Nope. That's not the secret to manifest anything. So let me tell you the secret. And I just gave you this key. It's a state of being. The secret to manifesting anything you desire is you have to be in harmony with reality, universe, nature, yourself. What is harmony? Harmony is what I call the flow state. Harmony is the ability to observe without attachment or reaction. That's it right there. Let me repeat that. The secret to manifest anything is to be in a state of observing without attachment or reaction to it. So if you want to make it simple, it basically means you kind of have to be in a numb state, like a peaceful state. I call it the flow state. It's a state where I observe everything around my environment, but I don't put any particular feeling, emotion to it. I don't get attached to it. I don't give it meaning or judgment. I just accept it for what it is. And then in the back of my mind, I know that the universe is actually working in my favor. That's the state of being that I use to manifest anything. And I believe that is the ultimate state, that if anyone can get into that state, all the techniques you're doing, you won't even have to do them. You won't even have to really do them. You don't have to do 5-5-5. You don't have to do 3-6-9 method. You don't have to do the 2-cup method. You don't have to any of that stuff, because those techniques are good, but what they're doing is They're targeting your subconscious mind to override a block or something, and then you can manifest. But once you really do these techniques, yeah, you will get the manifestation. But the big question is, how long are you able to keep it? I mean, when I manifest something, I want that something to be a consistent thing. I don't want to manifest what I call teasing, where I get it, it lasts for a time and then it disappears, and I got to go and do a whole bunch of work to get it again, right? So that's what I want to manifest. Bought your book. Thank you. I like it. To be okay with having it or not. Yes, that would be that state of being. It's yeah, that was an easy way to make it understandable for everybody. Is to just be okay with whatever's going on. To just accept everything as is. The people that come into your life as is. The events happen in your life as is. Don't try to give meaning to something because of your mind thinking it's going to be one way or another way. That's my approach to this stuff. It's basically whatever comes in, I let it come in. Whatever goes out, I let it go out. Now look, I'm not going to tell you that like I'm this monk or this like really very strong meditative and I don't get triggered and all that stuff. So no, I'm just like you. I'm normal. There's going to be things that are going to come in, and of course sometimes I'm going to get triggered, but the key is I'm just more aware now like of what's going on. So I notice when I'm being triggered, and I take steps to stop it. So I don't want you to get the idea like, oh man, Mark is just like this guy or this monk that just lives in this perpetual state of being. He doesn't make any mistakes. He doesn't. No. I'm just normal like everybody else. I have an ego, and even though I'm good at keeping my ego still erupts. But what I'm really good at is observing my reaction to things. That's the thing I'm really good at, and that's the secret, right? Mark, what is the name of your book? Manifesting it, winning the lottery through quantum physics. What do you think about third person perspective affirmation? What is third person perspective affirmation? Can you tell me that? Mark, how do you know if it's ego or intuition? Your ego will have a voice of anything. Ego will always give you like one of the following emotions or feelings. Anything ego will make you either feel anxious, really make you feel like you have to do something. Sometimes it can make you feel nervous. It can make you feel guilty. That's ego. When it's coming from your intuition, intuition usually don't come with a feeling. People think intuition is like a feeling. Intuition is like a state of that state I'm talking. It's flow state. Intuition is like an instinct. It just pops in and you just know what to do. You know how to take some action. Intuition don't have time to give you like all any feelings. If intuition comes with a feeling, the only feeling I would say intuition comes with is like a feeling of nothing. It's like a feeling of peace. It's like a feeling of this is normal. I don't know how to describe that feeling, but we've all had that feeling before. Mark, what do you think of this? I played the 6 winning numbers last week, but in the wrong game. Yeah, that's fine. That happens a lot. You see that's an example of what I call like when you look at things, you got to see them as is. So when an instant happen like that, your mind might tell you, man, you mess up, it's not going to happen. But the way I would look at it, I would just look at it like the universe is saying to me, hey man, anything is possible. Look, you got the winning numbers, but yeah, we're just in the wrong game. So what we'll do, we'll just get more aligned and we'll get it in the next game. That's what I mean when I say the universe is always like looking out for me or working out for me. So like whenever I'm in that state of being, it's like every single thing must work in my favor. That's what I believe, and that's what I tell myself. So that helps me to have the nonchalant, the no attachment, the no reaction vibration. It's important to have that because when I can cultivate that, I don't have resistance. Remember, resistance is the stopper of our desires. I don't have a lot of resistance. And because I don't have a lot of resistance, I'm able to make the space for what I want to come in. So that means what I want, like usually come in a lot easier, right? Because there's no turbulence. It's like a turbulence. They got an airplane. You go through turbulence, you go up and down, but you on an airplane, you have that smooth flight, just when everything went cool. That's what I akin it to, like that smooth flight. Everything is just going through, right? See how that works? We can actually control the people from the matrix. I don't. So I think someone messaged me and asked and mentioned this to me and says, "Hey, people, like in your reality," they mentioned that. I think they were stating or asking at the same time. They say, "Hey, man, in your reality, did you know that we control people's free will? So everyone's around you, you control their free will." So I think the person was making the analogy basically like, this is everyone in your world is like a character and they play a part and you control them, but you don't know you control them. So even though they look like they have free will, it's like you really giving them free will. So it's basically saying like you give permission for whatever's happening in your life, something like that. And that's not totally correct. What happens is, um, the thing is, you cannot control people. Well, someone says, "Well, what do you mean? I thought everything is entangled and we're all one. So if we're all one, then that means I could control people." Well, look at it this way. Let's use a tree to make it easy for you to understand. So a tree is rooted, right? So a tree, when it grows, it has branches, and these branches spread off, but everything is connected at the root. So if you look at a tree, if you look at one branch might bear some fruit. The other branch might not bear any fruit. So you're saying, well, if I control the tree, then why isn't the other branch not bearing fruit and one branch bearing fruit? So it means that the other branch must have a different perspective. The other branch must be free, has free will. Because if we're all connected, every tree should grow fruit, right? Right. So that's why you don't control people. You can't control people because even though we're all connected, even though we're all connected, even though we're all connected, we still have things from a different perspective. So that's the analogy of a tree. So that's why you can't control people. Oh, that's the easiest way to make sense for you. See, the tree, everything is connected to the root, but the branches have their own perspective. One branch might bear fruit, the other branch might not bear fruit. So that's how you look at it. Right? Is it spiritual or energy world? All right. Everything is an energy, and we call it spiritual. So here's a term for spiritual. Spiritual gets caught up with religion, and we get this misconception. So when someone says spiritual, the first thing people think about is like church or God or something like that, right? Because that's what you're programmed. But here's a true definition of spiritual, guys, in this way. So we have what we call physical, where you can touch stuff, and then we have what we call the non-physical, which is what we refer to as spiritual. So when you hear me talk spiritual or whatever, it just means non-physical. The things that you cannot comprehend or see or taste or smell or touch with your regular eyes. So that's spiritual. So we do live in a spiritual world. The world is really a non-physical world at the core, because you can't see patterns of atoms, you can't see electrons, but they make up the physical world. So everything comes from the non-physical, which creates the physical. So hence, everything is a spiritual world. And a spiritual world means everything is created by energy, right? How do magicians like Dynamo trick us? They control how they think. I don't know who that person is. Okay, got that one. What's this one? By knowing we're all one without energies. Energies don't die, right? I've connected with close ones who left their flesh. Yeah, that's yeah, someone has a good question. Why would you want to control anyone? So, yeah, the thing is, So the people around you, yeah, they have free will. You can't control people, guys. And then it means in your reality, you don't control people's free will. You control your own perception and your own reaction to whatever outside stimuli is in your environment. Okay? Now, you can influence people. The influence and control is two different things. Influence means I can plant seeds, I can plant ideas, I could make you think, and by your thinking, it could shift your decision to my point. That's different than I can just tell you, you're going to do this and you do that. So you don't control anybody. You only control yourself and what you put out. People are people. They're going to come in your life. Some are going to be good. Some are going to be what you call bad. All of that stuff. But remember, everything is a learning experience. Everything is happening for you, not to you. You want to really take yourself from the victim role. The victim role is what's messing everything up. All right, I talk about victim roles a lot. Victim role takes your power from creating. So, right? Are we living or dying since the day we were born? Well, I have a good video on that coming out on Tuesday, but I'll touch on it now. So I'll say this: you've already been dead for trillions of years, and at the same time, you're already alive for trillions of years, and at the same time, there's every moment in your life is somewhere in a coordinate in space-time. There's an event of you being born right now, dying right now. Every fraction or every particle of your life is etched in space-time right now. Man, how can I be living and dying at the same time? Well, it's because how your brain works. You see, your brain can't comprehend. Your brain cannot comprehend like a plane of existence. Our brains are really created and derived to see linear stuff from beginning, middle to end. And that's how we see time. But the secret is time doesn't work that way. Time, the past, the future, and the present are all at once, and they're happening in the same thing. So that means if the past, present, future all happening at once, you're already dead. You're already living trillions of years. It goes over and over again. So what's happening, Mark? Well, you're just experiencing the time where you're alive right now, but you're already dead. Because if you let me show you how this works so you can see it. So the way time works is this. So let's look. Let me get something. Because illustrations are the best way to get people to see stuff than talking. So let's use this. I use this napkin right here. So this is a plane. So you're looking down on it. So say you're looking down on this right now, okay? This is the past. This is the future. This is the present. Everything is happening right now. So if I'm looking down, I can see your entire timeline. I can see your death, your birth, every instance of your life right now. All at the same time. It's a coordinate. We look at time like this. Beginning, middle, end. Doesn't work that way. We just use that to make sense of our world. But if you could look outside of a timeline, everything is happening. So there's a point in, that's why everything is happening now. See? Past, present, future. So let's make it easier. So let's shrink you down. Let's say you're on this plane now. So there's one little person. You're not looking at it from outside. Now you're on the plane. You're a man now, and you're on this little plane. You can't see all the way over here because it's thousands or hundreds of thousands of miles from you. So you can see maybe to here or to here. So you see, you can't see it all up here because of the limited perception of your mind. But if you were to zoom out and be above it, you can see the entire plane. That's why you can't see your death, your birth, and all this stuff, because you're right here. It's a different coordinate. I mean, that's the easiest way I can make it make sense. I know this is going to confuse a lot of people. And that's why you get deja vu. That's right. So let's go back to the plane. I want to show you again. Your birth, your death, the beginning, and everything in the middle. But where is it all at? It's all at once in this big plane. But because you have a limited mind, we could only see like a little bit, a little bit, little bit, little bit. See, that's why we're moving, boom, 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 boom. So it's like a glitch, it's like a delay. You ever watch a movie, but when the movie's going on, you're not actually seeing what's happening in real time. You're seeing a delay because it takes light so long to travel. So that's what's happening with you. So the fact that you're here now, we're all dead already. We've all been dead for trillions of years. Yeah, it's going to shock your mind. But see, because you can't see the whole thing. If I was outside now, which there's one part of you that can see that, it's your higher self. See, that's why I always say I never worry about anything, because I know that my whole life everything's already done. So why do I worry? And then my higher self is just feeding me information to bring me along my path. Because remember, my higher self can see my entire timeline, my beginning, my middle, my death, my beginning, and this is continuously happening all the time. See how it works? So how do we know this is actually true? Well, Albert Einstein knew this. Albert Einstein had a friend, one of his good friends died, and this is not published a lot, but he wrote a letter to his friend's mom, and he says, such and such isn't dead. He's just over the next hill. So Albert Einstein actually knew that death and birth and everything was all at once. And how did he know that? Well, because the speed of light. You see, the thing about the speed of light, it doesn't obey time. Did you know that? Light is oblivious to time. It doesn't affect. Light does. In other words, the more you go to the speed of light, time actually stops. Time only affects the 3D perspective of us because it's interwoven. But speed of light, it doesn't obey time. So if you think about it, okay, speed of light, what are we? We are light beings. Your whole body is comprised of electrochemical volts of light and energy. So an electron, a photon, all of those are just particles. You are light. So right now you're dead and you're alive at the same time. It's just a different perspective. The reason it won't make sense to your mind is because your mind's been programmed to see things in like a linear stuff. So it's not. This is something you're just gonna have to look at the science and look at everything. And even when it's true, your mind's gonna still be like, no, that can't be possible. Well, the universe is a lot more trippy than you can ever imagine. That's why it is important to be present. That's why the power of the present moment is so powerful. That's the present moment is what you call the flow state. Does that make sense, right? Right. Mark, what exactly is subconscious priming? Oh, subconscious priming is just getting your subconscious mind ready to accept new information. It's like you're repeating it. It's like you're mentally building your subconscious, like you're training, like building muscle. Like you're telling your subconscious, hey man, let's go. This is what I want you to create. That's called subconscious priming. That's how you can get your subconscious to work for you. And the key is schools haven't really educated you. No, schools actually de-educate you, as you say. So how did the first human came here? Well, the first human came here through how the process of what we call evolution work. Now, some people will say, well, God is evolution. It could be, because there's a blueprint in the universe that just creates everything in perfect symmetry, and everything began. So if you want to technically call God, you can say God is in the evolution, because so how evolution became here is, when the universe began first, everything was condensed at a small point. Well, let me clear it up. Not when the universe began, because the universe doesn't have a beginning or an end. So I don't know if you knew that. So you can't even conceptualize that as well. We can't do that. No, you can't imagine something without a beginning or an end. But the universe doesn't have a beginning or an end. So like when the Big Bang happened, it was just a different evolution of our universe. It's a different part of the same thing. So when that occurred, this huge heat, light, plasma, it's cooled into plasma, and then when it cooled, you have gravity. It was like pulling stuff. Then we start to create all these elements. We have protons, electrons. They start to form. Everything cooled. Then you had liquid, gas, water, rocks. So everything cooled, and over what you call time, they collaborate together. Then the earth formed, And when the earth formed, then you had simple molecules that form bacteria over time through processes, through such as carbon, all these different elements. And then over time, they formed and they formed and then they formed. And then you had simple life form. You had first life forms that were simple bacteria. Then you had more like advanced life forms. Then the DNA. And so everything was like copying itself. Eventually you had the animals. And then from then they move up. And then the human beings. So everything came from the same tree. That's how human beings came into this. And then not only that, guys, but evolution doesn't stop. Humans are still evolving. If we are here for the next 2 million years, if someone could have a video or save this video in the next 2 million years, humans, you wouldn't recognize me or you, because we'll totally change. Our bodies, our heads might be a little bigger, our eyes might get sinking a little. So we're going to continue to evolve according to, the environment, all that stuff. Mark, kind of curious. Who influenced you the most? Good question. Just I say quantum physics, just science of everything, a lot of influencers. So only focus on the now. Yep. So is demotivation, discouragement, laziness all of a sudden sign of manifestation, even though I still see the synchronicities? Well, I wouldn't say they're a sudden sign of manifestation, but I would say that your brain is working normally. It's a good sign that you need to kind of step it up a little bit, because I said this in the video on Tuesday. I'm going to put it up, but I'll give you a snippet now. Is you have to know that your brain, right? Your brain did not evolve for you to thrive, to be successful, to make what you call money, to do all this beauty, lavish life. Your brain didn't evolve for that. Your brain's main objective is to conserve energy. Your brain doesn't want to put out energy. That's why success is so hard. That's why few people are successful. That's why more people are more just chilling, or they this explains why change is so hard. Your brain literally fights you from putting energy. Now remember how we create. To get the big stuff or good stuff, you have to put out energy. You can't conserve energy. But your brain's natural inheritance is to conserve. Your brain don't want you to put out energy. So it's going to use a lot of tactics, or what they call tricks, to do that, such as demotivation, like you're feeling, laziness, procrastination, guilt. And all of this is coming from your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind controls that. So your subconscious mind doesn't want to change. That's why your subconscious mind stays in the present, because it likes to conserve. It doesn't want to change anything. The good news is, the way the brain evolved, it has the ability to rewire itself. So that's why you see people who are successful, they put in a lot of work, right? They're very disciplined. They get up early in the morning. They stick with their routine. They're like constantly focusing and da-da-da-da-da-da. You see those motivational videos of all these people where they talk about, what's your daily habit? I get up at 6 or 4 in the morning. I meditate. I read a book. I run. I eat. I visualize. And they do this for a long period of time, because they have to rewire their brain, because their brain is going to fight them. The brain don't want you to put out energy. The more energy you put out, the more you change your life. Your brain isn't wired for that, because, think about this. The reason why the brain isn't wired, because your brain evolved millions of years. And then when the time we appeared, humans appeared, we were in what people call it Stone Age, but we were in a time where we had to actually fight to survive. We had the elements, we had the winter, we didn't have the technology, we didn't have coats, we had heaters, we had to kill our food and eat it, and then we had predators and prey. You had other humans probably were hunting. So the brain developed this mechanism to that's why you got fight or flight. It wants to survive. It'll make you feel scared, and that's why it wants you to stay where you're at, because it thinks if you go out, you're going to get attacked. So even though we human beings, our technology evolved, your brain didn't. So now, even though we have technology to be out of the cold and all, your brain is still stuck in the old thing. Even though you have a lot of opportunities now to make money and all this stuff, your brain don't care about that. It's still going to use the old program, the old school play. It's going to say, hey man, I don't want that stuff. I just want to conserve you. You're going to have to do this yourself. You're gonna have to go in and wire your brain. No one can do it for you. You gotta have the determination to do it. Your brain is not your brain's not gonna sit there and say, all right, man, I'll rewire myself and we can make some money or we can have abundant life. As a matter of fact, do the opposite. It's gonna keep telling you, yeah, just chill. Everything's gonna work out. It's lying to you. Yeah, just chill. So we'll just wait for it to happen. Ain't gonna happen. Hey man, don't do that. It's dangerous. We might fail. That's the trick, because it wants to keep energy. You have to recognize the trick and say, wait a minute. You're stuck in the old thousand millions of years things, man. I'm in the new age now. I got like technology and all this stuff. I got to go out and live my best life. So your brain says, all right, but if you do it, da da da, and then you say, I don't care. And then you say, you know what? I'm going to do this. And then you start to do a lot of techniques, do routine change, but you got to do this. I mean, to change the wiring of your brain, guys, I got to be honest with you. You got to put work in, man. But the results are going to be amazing. You're going to have to put work because you're going against an evolutionary default that was set into you thousands of millions of years ago. So you have to do work to get that done. And the work is basically your attention to detail, your habits, your focus. You got to have a routine going. You got to want it. Even when you don't, the brain will tell you stop. You can't stop, you know. But the beauty is we got so much stuff to help you now. So the work is very easy, man, compared to 50 years ago. You have subliminals. You can literally go to sleep at night and you can rewire your brain. How easy that is. You got hypnotherapy. You get hypnotized. What else? You got different platforms. You got internet. You can watch content all the time about what you want. You know, the only thing that you have to do that's going to be the work is what you put your mind on. You got to be careful. You got to listen to yourself talk. You got to visualize. You have to keep your mind open. You got to be an optimist. Those are the work you have to do. But imagine you have to do that work plus reprogram your subconscious 50 years ago without affirmations or subliminals or all that stuff. See that? So right now is the best time to be alive for you guys. So that's the trick about the brain, and people don't understand that. And that's why I say to people, you know, they ask about money all the time, and like with the lottery and all that stuff. And I keep saying to them, I said, look, it's not money. Money doesn't inspire your brain, man. So when people say, I want to get money, they think like your brain don't care about money because it's not something that threatens its existence or so. All your brain cares about is, am I being fed? Do I have enough food to sustain myself? Am I being warm or whatever to keep my biological systems going? That's all I was looking for. Food and shelter. That's all I cares about. I don't even care about your clothes. So you can be naked walking around. I don't care about none of that stuff. I say, are we warm? Do we have food? Boom. So money is not an equation. Money is a new thing that we invented recently. So people will think to themselves, oh man, yeah, man, I got to get this money. I got to chase this money. And all along they think by them saying that their brain is going to be motivated to do that. Your brain's not going to be motivated to do that. As a matter of fact, your brain's going to do the opposite because it doesn't even know what money is. It doesn't care. You know, you have to change and motivate yourself by rewiring your brain. When you do that, then it's going to accept the money as a motivation. Does that make sense? So do we pretend that we already have what we want, or the expectation feeling that it will happen? Both. You have to pretend that you have what you want, and you have to be in a mode of expecting what you want. That's point blank. You know, the act as if, act or whatever, you have to do that. And you have to do it from an internal point. You don't have to do it from a physical point. Physical point will help. Like, if you could dress the way you want if you want to be wealthy, dress to wealth. You go surround yourself in exotic places. All those are very powerful. They're definitely going to change your brain. But you have to do it internally. You have to see like a vision. You have to see what your life would look like. First person, third person. And you have to do this all the time. And that's going to get you to experience what you want. So yes, you literally got to act as if Fake it till you make it. You literally got to do that. The reason you got to do that, but the problem with that too is your ego. See, the ego put a wrench in that, because your ego will tell you, stop lying or da da da, make you feel guilty, and you may give up. But you have to get over your ego. You can't let your ego do that, because remember, guys, you're going to your the stuff you're doing is targeted for one part only, your subconscious, and your subconscious don't even know what act as if is. It thinks it's real. So if you get up every morning, I can tell you something. If you get up every morning, let's use money, because people, if you get up every morning and you see yourself as a millionaire, you may be living in a studio apartment or living with your parents or wherever you are, it don't matter your circumstances. But if your mindset is, I'm a millionaire, and you can see a blueprint of your life, like a business or a goal or something you want to achieve, and you can do that every morning, every day, what actually happens is you're more convincing your subconscious that this is true. And over time, short period of time too, your subconscious will accept that as a habit. What a habit does is going to make you take an action. An action is going to lead you to the opportunities. The opportunities are going to manifest, and then you will become the very thing you kept thinking and saying. That's how it act as if works. A lot of people are scared to do the act as if, because they get an ego. The ego will say, bro, why are you playing yourself? Stop, stop doing this with people, or whatever it says. Yo, I don't know what's up with this live, man. Oh, it's my camera. This new camera I got is just like zooms in, zooms out. I don't know what's up with that. Right. So, Mark, what about diet and physical surroundings, environment? Yeah, the environment and diet definitely plays a huge role. Yeah, you have to surround yourself where you can focus. Is it possible to manifest a wife and kids? Of course. It's possible to manifest anything as long as you believe it, and then you instill it every day in your life. Do physical components play a part in this? What is physical components? I mean, physical components are etches of non-physical components. So there is no physical components. I mean, everything looks physical to you and I, because that's how we perceive it, but the ingredients are not physical. If the ingredients are not physical, how can that be physical? So it means it's either something's messed up, or we are living in an illusionary world, and more likely the physical is an illusion. It's like this. It's like I'm baking a cake. The ingredients to bake a cake will always become a cake. If I put the ingredients to bake a cake and it becomes a meatloaf, something's off. Physics don't work like that. The universe is a very geometric and harmonious state. It's a self-correcting code. So the universe won't give you the ingredients to make a cake, and then when you put it in, it comes a meatloaf. So I'll use that to the analogy of your reality. So we see our reality as physical stuff, but the ingredients in our reality is immaterial. So therefore, the physical stuff we're seeing, there are illusions. They're an illusion of a physical world, but the true structure is the ingredient. Just like the ingredient, it's non-physical. So it's just how our brains developed over millions and thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. It had to make sense of our environment. So when your brain is very smart to adapt it. That's why you have so much senses on you, because your environment is really important for your survival. You got 2 eyes, you got 2 ears, you see, everything is sensory for the environment. So your brain, when you see stuff around you, then it looks physical to you. But what actually happens is, the stuff you're seeing, you can't see you can't see the vibration or the patterns that skip, because they move so fast. Your eyes don't have that speed to see the gaps. So when you see a person, you see flesh, blood, and everything, but you can't see the component of the oscillation of the vibration of them. That's the best. That your brain had to do that to make sense of your world. Hmm? When does it become the point where you know it's time to let go? Um, from the first moment you start manifesting stuff. Manifesting, guys, is see it and then let it go. You don't let it go. Doesn't have, you don't let go stuff in the middle. You're 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 doing it the wrong way. You have to let go from the beginning. You got to let go from the beginning. You got to set it and forget it. That's the secret. And that the secret is, as I said, get into that state, the state of being, that non-reaction, non-attachment. Everything is as is, or it is what it is. That's the state that's letting go. It's like a nonchalant person. It's like someone that they're arguing with you and you're like, why is this person showing any emotion? He's just cool and calm. Someone like that. It's like nothing really affects this person. Like, what? All this stuff. The person is just in this nonchalant. He's just accepting what's happening. But in the back of his mind, he knows that everything is working out in his favor regardless. That's the formula to let go. How do you get your downloads? Yes, it's in the flow state. That's when you'll get your download. You get your download when you're in the flow state. You can only become your best version when you're in the flow state. You can only get what you want when you're in the present moment, because I just showed you how time works. You know, you have to be here to get something. See what I'm saying? You gotta be in your environment, because everything is happening right now. Nothing's happening tomorrow. Nothing's happening. Nothing ever happened yesterday. It all happened right now. Yesterday is a memory of right now. This is how your brain processes stuff. Matter of fact, if you didn't have any memory, the past would never exist. The only reason you know the past exists, guys, is because of a memory. So the past isn't real. It's just you're just going from moment to moment. And I use this. If you watch my channel, I use this all the time, and I'll say it again. When do you dream of your past? You do it now. When do you think of the future? You do it right now. When the future comes, when are you doing it? Now. When tomorrow comes, when is it happening? Now. See? Now. But we tend to have this concept where we look ahead for something like tomorrow, next week. And that's because of how we develop as a society. We have work, school, businesses, we have a life. So we have schedules. So your brain developed like, okay, next Tuesday, next Wednesday, next Friday, I'm going to do this, da. I get that. But I got to tell you the truth. The truth is none of that is real. I'm talking big picture here. So if you understand, like, okay, that's just a complex, that's just a structure to help me to make sense of the world I'm living in. But I know that it's now. So if I just keep my mind on what I want now, next Tuesday, Wednesday, all that stuff is going to take care of itself, right? And I want to show you something too. Even your brain knows this. Did you know that? Did you know your brain knows that there is no future and there is no past? And I can give you the. And did you know that your brain can talk to you, to tell you, to show you through your emotions that there's no future and there's no past? Did you know that? Let me show you how it does that. You see, what happens is, whenever you're thinking about the future, you're going to get anxious. That's the brain reminding you that, bro, what are you doing? I don't know this stuff. Whenever you get depressed and feel down, you're usually thinking about the past. None of that can happen when you're in the moment, man. A matter of fact, did you know that you can never have a problem when you're in the moment? Problems can never exist in the present moment. Everything just happens, and then when it happens, you'll take the next logical step. It's so instant. Your mind will know what to do to fix it right then and there. No problem. Problems can only occur in the future because we think ahead. Your brain tells you these stuff. I'm sure you heard that saying, whenever you're in the future, you're anxious, whenever it's real, it's true. But I mean, I don't think they told you why though. So why does your brain do that? Well, because your brain inherently knows that there is no future. So it's like it's glitching. So when you get anxious, the brain is like, okay, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to react. So you get this feeling of anxiousness because the brain is trying to do something now that doesn't exist. So I said, you're thinking tomorrow and your brain is trying to do it now, but it doesn't exist. So your brain is like, wait a minute, you're tricking me because I can't do this now. So it doesn't exist. So you get that feeling. And same thing with your past. You get depressed because you think you lost something. The brain says, wait a minute, you're tricking me because this isn't happening now. So even your own brain gives you the secret to how this stuff works. Right? Everything is already in you. The secrets to how time, universe, manifesting, your body, your brain recorded it billions of years ago before you got here. But it just don't speak the language like we created. It's going to talk to you in a different language. It's going to talk to you like feelings, and you gotta know how to decode them. And the biggest one is your subconscious mind. So if you ever want to know how time is an illusion, or that the past, the future, and everything is at once, go take a trip into your subconscious mind, the powerhouse of all manifestation and everything created in your life. Go take a trip there. When you go into there, you will never see a calendar. You will never see your birthday. You'll never see your age, because none of that exists there. The only thing you will see is now. Your subconscious doesn't know a month, 30 days. It's stuck in now. Matter of fact, you know where it's stuck at and stayed? Because that's where it started to program. It's stuck from when you were 0 to 7 years old. It never left. Your subconscious is still in the 7-year-old part of your life. Because according to it, that's when it began, so everything is now. So even though, you know, we grow up and we get more intellectual, that has nothing to do with how the universe, that's just an evolutionary part of your conscious mind. Your conscious mind just developed intellectually to help you to survive, and that's the ego part, to make sense of the world. But your conscious mind came to the game late because it didn't have no idea that time isn't real. So we invented clocks and structure for our conscious mind. So our conscious mind bought into that, and your conscious mind believed that you are your age, you are this year, it is to Tuesday, it is Wednesday, it is 7 a.m., 7 p.m. It believed it so much that your brain evolved a circadian rhythm. So that's when you go to sleep, your brain wakes you up. But all of that is just a biological thing to help you make sense of the world. See that? The truth is, none of that is true. Go to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind still thinks you're a 7-year-old kid. This is why people that are grown adults act like kids. This is why people who are grown adults have emotional trauma and they hold back just like a kid. Every person that doesn't fix their subconscious, they're a big kid. Because the subconscious didn't let it go. It's stuck in now. So does that make sense? Yeah, that's right. Somebody said it here. Justice, which is, yeah, worry, anxiety is future, depression, guilt, sadness is the past. That's your brain's way of telling you to get into the present moment, because the brain is a very remarkable machine. It senses before you know stuff. And I always say the universe is so perfectly designed that it corrects its own self. You have light and dark. They need each other. See, that makes everything possible. You call it yin and yang. So it's like, look at your brain like a computer, like I guess a car. You know, when something's wrong with a car, you're going to get the thing flashed up on your dashboard, right? So what's happening there? Well, the car, you know, your car is, every time you drive your car, there's billions and millions of transmission or communication between the computer. It's checking all the systems, the fuel rates, You don't even know this. You're just in your car driving, So there's a computer running in the car to check all the systems. When something goes wrong, if there's a short or a glitch, the dash is gonna pop up. You'll say check engine, or you say, oh, something's wrong, I gotta take my car in. But see, they didn't teach you that about your brain. Your brain's just the same thing. So when you get anxious, depressed, It's the check engine light in your brain. But no one told you to take your brain in to get fixed. You just thought, oh, it's normal. And you continue to do that. So just look at your car again. Your car got a check engine light. You see the check engine light. What happens if you keep driving the car? You're going to mess up a lot of more stuff, right? So think about how many people don't even know what's happening in their life, and they keep thinking the past, the future. So what happens now? They become what? They become more sick. They get more disease. They get depression, severe depression. They get insomnia. You know, and they don't even know that it's because they're living in something that's not real. They're living a life, an age, a name, a number that I call the Matrix gave you. They think they're 24. They think they're 46. They think they're 66. They think it's January. They think today is March, whatever, March 26, Sunday. They think it's 12 noon. No. It's none of that stuff. It's now. It's right now. And when you don't do that, your brain is going to suffer. This is why at this all-time high, if you look at statistics and research, people are more depressed, anxiety, and all this stuff is higher than ever before in human history. That all has to factor with how the Matrix designed this stuff. And again, I said your brain is like a computer. It gives you the warning sign, but if you don't know how to read the code, you're not gonna get it. You know, it's like a check engine too. You know, you gotta have someone to come in and put the OB reader on it and says, oh man, it could be something simple. Like, oh, your gas cap. You boop, your check engine light goes off. You gotta have the code reader for your brain. The code, you know what the code reader for your brain is? Your intuition, your higher self. Something will tell you, like a feeling, like, man, this ain't right. I can't be doing this all the time. I'm thinking too much. I'm worrying too much. So your brain will always give you the code reader. Do twin flames exist? All right, the thing with twin flame is, I believe they exist, and the reason I believe they exist is because of how infinite the universe is, and there's a constant reincarnation cycle happening, because everything must repeat itself. So basically, a twin flame is a version of you. It could be a female, but she's a, let's say you're a man and you meet a woman. She's the exact copy of you, but she's in a female. You're a woman, you meet a man, same thing. That's what a twin flame is. That's why it's so difficult for twin flames. Like, that's why they can clash and they can be good and nice, because they're the same they're the same polarity as each other. It's you. And the next thing about twin flames is one of them will be more advanced, more experienced. So usually I think with twin flames, one of them will be a lot older than the other. Maybe the male will be like a few years older than the female, etc. And that happens because of the continuous cycle of experience. What about Alzheimer's? Yeah, what about it? Alzheimer's is a degenerate of the neurons in your brain through entropy. As time goes on, food and stuff you put in your food accelerates Alzheimer's in people. I think there's a study done to say fluoride. Fluoride is one of the biggest things that they linked with Alzheimer's. How to increase intuition, being in the moment. To increase anything to get what you want, you have to get into that state of being. You got to be now. If you want to get more intuition, practice being present. If you want to get manifest stuff, practice being present. If you want to talk to your higher self, practice being present. Because you can only create anything at this moment. You can never create anything in the future, even though your mind will tell you you can, because it's not here. You certainly can't create anything in the past, because it's already a moment moved away. It's gone. But what do? We spend most of our time in one of those two areas, and they don't exist. So what we do is we take a lot of our energy and we actually throw them away. We throw them in the future and we throw them in the past, because there's nothing there. And then what we do is we forget about where we are right now, and we use the present moment as a springboard. And your ego developed a really good trick with that. See, your ego is a very smart mind. So what your ego did was, your ego kind of knew, like, okay, I kind of know that the present is, well, let me tell you something, I'll shock you right now. Your ego actually knows that there is no past or future. Did you know that? Your ego knows that. Your ego actually knows the only true time that exists is now. Yep, it knows that. So the question is, my ego knows that. Why does it want to? Why does it keep keeping me away from the present? Because your ego is all about control. Don't care about you. It just wants to control. So what's the thing with your ego? Your ego knows that, man, I can't control the present moment, man, because it's infinite. My powers are limited there. I can only do 10%. So I can't have him or her being in the present because I'll lose my control. Then he'll connect with his true self, and then I'll be in the back burner. So what your ego did was, I'll just keep him in the future. I'm going to use the present to trick him. I'll just tell him that it'll always be better when we have this. When this happens, I'll get that. And that's why you always think like that. You know, when I get this, I'll be happy. When I get that, I'll be at peace. When that comes, I'll be happy. And it will never come. You'll be chasing like the hamster chasing the cheese on the wheel. Same thing with your past. Ego knows that, okay, the past is easier because, you know, he experienced stuff before, so I could just use his memories against him. And he'll always make you reminisce and relive your past. And you'll never know that you're in the present moment. And the ego will continually do that to you because that's the only way it can gain control and gain power over you, because it loves to control stuff. That's why your ego loves, that's why your mind is constantly in the future and in the past. And if you don't know, if you don't believe me, well, check this out. Your ego actually controls your subconscious mind. It tells your subconscious mind what to do. So this is why people can't get in the present moment, because their subconscious mind now listens to the ego and then follows the ego and puts them into the future and the past. Because if it was easy, and you could quit it right now, but why you can't do it? Because your subconscious make it a program. Remember now, your subconscious is logical. So it can't think and it can't say, okay, there's no next week, Friday or Thursday. It just listens to the ego and it just makes you, what it does, it makes you think and look ahead to those makeup days or makeup things. Do you see how it works? So the key is you have to overcome your ego and put yourself in the present. And it's really quite simple. You just have to talk to it. You just got to know, like, every time you jump in the past, catch yourself. Every time you jump in the future, catch yourself. Bring yourself back. You're gonna do it for a while though, because it's gonna take a lot of practice to do it. Because most of us, our subconscious already got a program. Is it better to do subliminals in your own voice or loop it? Doesn't matter. You can do it in your own voice. You can use another person's voice. Right? Mark, you said to figure out your dreams daily and then set it and forget it. But how? You don't need to figure out how. All you have to know is just know what you want. If you can see a vision of it happening or what it looked like in the end, it's not your job to figure out the how. Another trick your ego plays on you, the word how. It uses like when it happens and how. If you notice, those are two most detrimental words or statements that will keep your life from ever moving forward. When I get this money, I'm gonna find happiness. When I have more money, I'm gonna start a family. I'm gonna have a relationship. When I move there, I'll be at peace. When I do this, it'll happen. Ain't gonna happen. Well, I know what I want, but how am I gonna get it? How am I gonna get this stuff and I don't even? What do those two statements have in common? I'll tell you what they have in common. They distract you from the moment. They put you in a state of anxiety and anxiousness. The fact is, guys, you know, this is just the truth. Only 0.02% of the time you can figure out how things are going to come into your life. That's very minimal. 99% of the time, you will never figure out how you're going to get what you want, because the part of the brain that's responsible for that is your unconscious mind. It's not your conscious mind. Your ego likes to take on roles. That's what it does. It likes to take on the role of how. So you have to understand that It's not my job to figure out how I'm going to get what I want, because I know there's infinite ways. My job is just to keep the energy flowing until it comes. So get out of the habit and stop asking how. How? That's hard to do because, again, the matrix put that in your head. When you go to school, they push that in your head. You got to figure out how to solve this problem. You got to figure out how your life's going to be. Can you see yourself 5 years from now? Can you see what you're going to look like 10 years from now? No, stop doing that. It ain't going to happen. It's never, you're just going to put yourself in more depression, and you're just going to bog your brain down. Don't let people tell you, hey man, you got to see a roadmap of yourself 5 years from now. You got to see yourself 10 years from now. Oh, that's a bunch of bullcrap. You can't see 5 years and 10 years because it doesn't exist, and everything is constantly changing in the moment. What you do is, here's what you do. You see a vision of what you'd like to become now. Write it down now. Don't write it down in 5 years or 2 years. Just do it now. Then it will take care of itself. But if you're out there looking like, what's your 5-year plan, man? What's your 10-year plan? You ain't going to get there, because it's constantly evolving. You're going to be depressed. You're going to set up yourself for more failure, because now your mind has a goal and it's looking. Now look, there's nothing wrong with setting goals. Okay, a goal is good, but what people do is they try to get in detail with the goal. They try to figure out how the goal is going to happen, when the goal is going to happen. And you can't play that game, because you're always going to lose. You're going to be, no matter how many times you play, it's a 70-game series, you're always going to be 0-70. Every time. You'll never win one game. It's impossible. You can't beat that. But yet, that's what they teach people. And people don't understand. The thing I learned is, and this is the most shocking thing to me about humanity, people in general. Literally every single thing that you have been taught about how life works, what life is, how to think, how people work, how to get what you want, it's all bullcrap. It's backwards. It's the opposite, man. That's the thing that I can't figure out. I'm sitting here today, I'm like, man, how did we get like that? How could people teach people the opposite way to do stuff, and still people don't even get it today? If you want to ask me something that I stay up and think about every night, that is that right there. How the hell that we learn what we learn is totally incorrect. You literally have to unlearn everything you learn. The books, the textbooks, everything they wrote, you got to throw all that stuff out, because none of that is accurate. Mark, when an answer comes to your mind, is that your intuition talking? Yes. What are subliminals? Subliminals are hidden words or programs that gets into your unconscious mind and changes a habit or a belief into a new way of thinking or doing stuff. Sub means below. It's below your subconscious, into your subconscious. So you see how that works? So someone says it's for the Kabbalah to control. Well, it has to be, because man, if you sit down and you think about all this stuff, it really works the opposite. They'll tell you, you got to go work hard, you got to push. It's actually the opposite. You don't have to do that. You can actually sit, relax, wait for inspired action, be in the moment, and things will come to you. You got to go chase to get your dreams. That's inaccurate. You chase, it's going to run away from you. Okay. You got to know how to get your dreams. That's inaccurate. Just create more resistance. It's not going to happen. It's like everything they tell you is backwards, and people do it, and that's why there's no results. I mean, I'll give you an example. Even prayer. This is how you got to pray. Backwards. There's no results. Trillions of prayer go up every day. Trillions of people pray every single day. Yet the world is still the same. Nothing's changing. Well, you got to pray this backwards. See that? Even who you are. Well, you were created in 7 days through this Adam and Eve, and The only thing they got right was you did came from dust, because everything is from the dirt. And there's this guy that sits up high, and he's going to look at you, and depending on what you do, he's going to judge you. But he really loves you, but yet he's going to send you to hell, but he still loves you. And he knows the entire truth of everything, but he still make you make mistakes. But yet he can see the entire timeline. He knows when you're going to mess up, but he still make you make mistakes. Oh, by the way, when you make the mistake, he's going to punish you as well. Oh, because he knows you're imperfect. What the hell, man? None of that makes sense, people. Wake up. People buy that stuff every day, man. That people don't think. That's the next thing they do. They teach you what to think. They don't teach you how to think. If you're someone that can take time and just listen to yourself, the truth will come in. The truth will come in. All right? So, how do we script properly? When you script in stuff, you have to write them in the present tense. You can also script in the past tense, because that's powerful as well, because when you write something in the past, remember your subconscious is illogical, so it will believe by your writing it that it already occurred. If it already occurred, it has to make sense with the present reality, so it's going to move more quickly or more whatever to get you it to be more congruent. But anything in the present or in the past tense, as if you've done it already, you're celebrating it, that's it. One thing when you script, though, you don't have to put things in a time perspective. Like, I expect to manifest $20,000 in the next 3 months. That's going to mess you up, and here's why. Even though your conscious mind might help you, and some people will get success, and I say, well, Mark, I've manifested $20,000 when I wrote the date and the time and it came in. Yeah, you did that, but you didn't do that with your subconscious. You did it with your conscious mind. That's a very limited thing. If you want to get bigger and better stuff, you do with your unconscious, and you can live your dreams. And most people don't do this because the mind can't figure out how they're going to get it. So you always put things in the present with no dates and none of that stuff, as if it's happening now. You'll get better results that way. Right? Third eye makes you manifest faster. Yep, it can. Your third eye is the phone to the invisible dimension. It helps you to really tap in there. Right? Hi, can you tell us the language that we can speak that the universe understands? Okay, the universe will understand your vibration. The universe understands how you feel. How you feel will tell the universe what to bring you. So it's very simple format. The more often you feel good, the more often you feel at peace, the more often you feel just as is, the more often you feel that you're not connected and you're not like attached to anything. Those type of feelings will tell the universe to bring you more abundance. Those are the type of feelings you can talk to the universe. And of course, you got to use your language. You got to say, but the language got to create a feeling. So the universe just doesn't listen to you by what you say. It listens to you by what you project as a vibration through your feelings. You know, when you talk, it has to accompany some kind of feeling. So yeah, I want people to understand that. So a lot of people, I think they just use like talking to the universe without like having any passion or feeling to it. The universe is not gonna, that's not gonna work because you're not carrying a vibration. Right? Mark, you should turn on super chat. I heard super chat, but I don't even know how to turn that on. I gotta go into my YouTube and learn more about like activating super chat. Right? So the language you can use, I mean, I'll give you a big tip. The best language, if you want to talk to the universe, if you find it difficult right now, you're like, man, Mark, I get that, but I don't know. It's gonna take time for me to develop to like really get into like, you know, using my feelings because I'm not good at that right now. So the easy way to talk to the universe is to use subliminals then. Use subliminal programming and let the subliminals talk to the universe for you. Because the subliminals will get into your subconscious mind and they'll tell your subconscious mind exactly what you want, and your subconscious will bring it to you while you're practicing developing the feeling. Is reincarnation in the Bible? Reincarnation was in the Bible, but the Romans took it out in the Council of Nicaea because it didn't go according to what their agenda and what they wanted to create as far as a Christian or Christendom religion. And the Bible has a lot of misrepresentation as well. If you want to really know the truth about the universe and a lot of stuff, you got to go look at the book of Enoch. By the way, that book, I think that book is banned. So someone, my TikTok live, someone has a used copy of it. I don't think they sell new copies or you can get downloads. You can find it. But the book of Enoch has a lot of profound thing. It tells you who God is, what God is. When you read the book, you will find out why they banned it, because it clashes really with how the Christianity or the Bible was written. The book of Enoch, my friends. Do you believe in Neville's techniques and teachings? Yes, definitely. The law of reverse effort. Create a void by finding it to higher self and allow it. Yep. Okay, someone said, I didn't mean how to do it. I understand that. I'm confused by your two statements. They seem contradictory. Visualize daily and set it and forget it. Yeah, I don't know what's confusing about that. Would you say, I didn't mean how to do it? I understand that. I'm confused by your two statements. That what? They seem contradictory. Visualize daily and set and forget it. Yeah, so visualize daily, set and forget it. I don't know how that can be kind of contradictory, because when you visualize something, you're implementing it into the unconscious mind, right? And then when you forget about it, it means you're open for however it's going to come into your life. You're not like in a need or looking for it. So what someone would do in this case, they would visualize their goals, and then they get up in the morning and whatever they're doing that, and they're not focused like too deeply on like when it's coming or not. That's called set it and forget it. That's how you make that work. So maybe I'm misunderstanding you about how it can be contradictory. I found the book of Enoch in the original text a long time ago at the library. Eye opener. Yeah, you won't find that around. You won't even hear too much about the book of Enoch. Mark, do you use any kind of crystals when you're manifesting the lottery? Yes, I use green aventurine. Still have it today in my little lottery pouch. Green aventurine, jade. Yep, those are crystals for the lottery. Don't you think the Matrix is under God control? No. Well, we got to go into a deeper topic here now. Well, who God is, right? So if we're talking about the God of Christianity, where they say there's a guy in the sky that watches over us, well, I have news for you. That doesn't exist. So I want to set the record clear, because some people will say, well, Mark, you're an atheist, Mark, you don't believe in God. No, let me set the record clear. Okay, who God is and how it operates is totally different than the religion of Christianity. Here is what I've discovered, and here is what's been working for me, and what I've teach people, and I see it working. And here's what physics and science and everything says about all this stuff, okay? So what God is, God can never be a person. It can never be a thing. It can never have judgment. It can never do any of that, because God is a consciousness. It's awareness. It's the mind that you have, your friend have. It pulsates to everything, right? And it operates on two levels. It's high and low. So God says, whatever you focus on, I'll give it to you. There is no judgment. If you're focusing on good and you want good, you'll get that. If you focus on bad and bad, you'll get that. It's a neutral, energetic consciousness of the entire universe. It permeates to you, me. It is actually the universe expressing itself as Mark, as Jessica, as Bill. That's what it is. So, the matrix is controlled by the people who created the matrix. Point blank. Okay? So clear that up. Demons are real or low vibration entities. I believe they are low vibration entities. And the same thing with angels. Angels are what we would consider higher dimensional beings. Now look, you have to understand this now. Here's something else that you must know. That there is not 1 or 2 dimensions or 3 or 4 dimensions. I mean, we have string theory, we go to 13 dimensions, but there could be more dimensions that our brains can't even conceptualize right now. Within these dimensions, you actually have different forms of life. These dimensions could be interacting with our dimension right now, but because the way physics works there, the charge may just be a little bit off, that you can't physically interact with it, but they can interact with your dimension because they're higher dimension. So if someone's in a 5 dimension, they can interact with the 3 dimension. Just like you and I, we're in a 3 dimension. Guess what? We would look like gods to a 2 dimension. And let me bring out my paper again to show you what I mean by that, so you can see how stuff works. So let's say we are 3-dimensional beings, and let's say we go into a 2-dimensional world. Paper. So this is a 2-dimensional world. The people in a 2-dimensional world could only go forwards and backwards, right? You and I, we're in a 3-dimensional world, so we can go forwards, backwards, left, right, up, down, right? So if you came into a 2-dimensional world, they would see you pop in like a miracle. Because remember, their brains are designed to see 2-dimensional. So when you and I look, it says, whoa, we pop in. They'll be shocked. They'll probably be stunned because they have never seen anything like that. Because they had no idea that there's a 3rd dimension. It exists right in them, but their brains, their world was made for 2. So I put my hand in a 2-dimensional world, it gets even trippier. So if I put my hands in the 2-dimensional world like this, bloop, they will never see the whole 3D of my hand. All they'll see is just a 2D surface of my hand. So it gets even more trippier. Let's say I put my face in the 2-dimensional world. They'll just see like the front part. They can't see the whole 3-dimensional part. Same thing. Now let's talk about a being, let's say someone in a 6th, 7th, 10th dimension, and they come into your 3rd dimension. You probably can't even make sense of what it is. That's what explains when people see demons, ghosts, and spirits and entities, because these are higher different beings that are interacting with in our dimension. They look weird and trippy to us because we're trying to take a 10th dimensional being and bring it into a 3-dimensional concept. It won't work. And they look like a miracle. They pop in and they pop out. See how it works? This makes all right. I heard that you listen to affirmations when awake, but subliminals while asleep. So I'm confused as to what to do. There's no confusion. You can do them both. You have when you wake up in the morning, you have about a 2 to 3 hour window that you can get affirmations in, because when you wake up, you're still in a hypnotic state. Then your brain will go into the wake state of what we call beta state. So that's why people listen to affirmations in the morning for 2 to 3 hours. When you go to bed at night, your brain now goes back down into the theta state. So it's up to you. So it's all about the brain state your brain gets into. You want to be in a theta state, because a theta state is a hypnotic state. And everybody was asking me about this self-hypnosis. How do you self-hypnosis? It's really easy to hypnotize yourself, guys. I mean, you can go to hypnotherapy if you have money and you want to go, fine. But anyone can do this at home. It's so easy to hypnotize yourself. It's very easy. The best time to hypnotize yourself is in the morning. Because did you know when you wake up in the morning, you're literally in a hypnotic state for two hours. So if you want to hypnotize yourself, when you get up in the morning, just don't jump out of your bed. Just open your eyes and just relax. Think about what you want. Then talk it out loud to yourself. Repeat it over and over to yourself, just like a hypnotherapist will tell you to do. You have this, you have that. You say all that to yourself, 5 to 10 minutes. Voila! You hypnotize. It goes into your subconscious. That's how easy self-hypnosis is. You don't have to do inductions. And inductions where the hypnotherapist will put you into this deep sleep state where they'll tell you stuff like, you're counting down from 10. You see this, you see that. That's called an induction. You don't need any of that, because when you wake up, you already in an induction state, because you were sleepy, you were up. The key to make self-hypnosis work, though, is how you wake up. You can't jump out of bed like this. You have to wake up like slowly, relax, look up at your ceiling, so that your heart rate, everything stays the same. So if you want to do self-hypnosis, I just gave you $1 million tip. Now you just saved a whole bunch of money. Right? I already listen to affirmations when you wake. So a lot of stuff are very simple. Who do you pray to? Well, we go back to the thing. What is prayer? Who invented prayer? I ask you that question. What is true prayer? Who do you pray to? That's the wrong question. The right question is, what do you pray to, and what do you pray for, and what is prayer? So let me school you guys and help you to understand what prayer really is. Prayer is a communication to your true, authentic self. You see, when people pray, and the Bible tells you this is one correct. Pray as if you have it or you believe it. Where does that come in? It comes into yourself. It's a belief. It's your subconscious. So when people pray, they think they are praying to what the religion gave them to say it's a God. That's totally incorrect. Because if that was true, why is the world the same? Why are trillions of prayer going up and none of them is being answered? Debunked that one a long time ago. When you pray, you have to pray as if what you want is already done. And that can only come through you. So if you to get technical, who do I pray to? Myself. My what you call godlike or authentic self. Because that is the part that brings me the inspiration and the answers to do and to manifest. People think when they pray, it's God or this guy answering them. It's not that, guys. It's your own consciousness from a different perspective. It's the higher version realm of you. Remember, we are all a one consciousness created in this unified field. So when you're praying, that's what you actually do. So I'll even get more technical to show you how deep this stuff is. And show you it's all in the subconscious. So when people pray, well, religion teaches people to pray. They pray as if they're begging and they're pleading. They pray like this. Oh God, help me, please. If you let me do this, I'll definitely change my ways. Majority of that are coming from a what? A state of need or lack. That's never going to manifest for you. But when someone prays like, hey, thank you. This is what I like to achieve. Can you make this happen for me? Pray with confidence, assertion, as if it's done, knowing it's going to happen, a declaration, a command. That's all going to your subconscious, because your subconscious now accepts it's true. Then it goes out into the universe, we want to call God, and then it comes back to you as your experience. That's how it works. Okay? These crystals, everything is within you. Nothing ever comes from outside you guys. That's something that's been hidden from you as well for so many years. You were taught that you are independent of everything outside of you. And you were taught that you need outside circumstances, events, and things to make your life fulfilled. You were taught that there's another being outside of you that will judge you, put you down if you don't do what he says. That's all a game they play. They've been playing you from thousands of years. Some people have been played so long they just want to stay. They don't want to be unplugged. They just want to stay. They've been played so long that they actually defend being played. To me that's the definition of insanity. Someone that's been played so long that they believe the play is true and they fight to protect the play. And you're telling them, hey man, I'm trying to save you and help you, but yet you're fighting against what's holding you back. That's a definition of insanity. Can we see God if you astral travel? You can't see God because God is not a thing. It's a being. It's energy. It's you. You might see yourself. You cannot see something that's here, there, everywhere at the same time. You can't see that stuff. God is not a person. Look, get this out of your head, because that's what religion teach you. Religion gave you God with a personality and a human figment. These are human concepts we put to a deity, guys. Nothing works like that. So the first thing you gotta get out of your head is associating God with a being or a person like you. You can't see that. You cannot see God, or what you want to call God. Can you see something that's here, there, everywhere, all infinite at the same time? Impossible. Okay? Right. So you gotta see the big stuff here. Now, people make a mistake by a lot of people do this. They depend on outside circumstances than they depend on themselves. Most people don't have confidence in themselves because they don't know that they are the creators of this stuff. So a lot of people will tend to believe or look for things to help them or make their lives better. And how's that going? You can see that doesn't work, right? And it will never work because only through you can create your world. I give you an example of prayer. This is in the Bible, right? The Bible tells you this. The Bible says you have to pray as if they knew something about who you truly are. They knew that the world was created inside you, right? They knew that. So that should give you a clue to understand that, wait a minute, I am more powerful than I ever believed. Who created the universe? The universe has no beginning and no end. Okay, here's something, guys. Remember, we're thinking like in small. We're thinking in human concepts. We think from like birth, beginning, and death. The universe don't work like that. Let me show you something. The universe has no beginning or end. So it can't have a creator, right? It's just here. It's always been here. It's going to be difficult for our minds to grasp that. How can you think of something that has no beginning or end? It's like when you think about it, your mind's going to go haywire. It's like, wait a minute. Somebody got to create that. No. We're thinking in human construct because we were born and we see stuff around us create every day. So we think logically, oh, okay, because I'm a human being. I work like this. The universe has to work like that. No. The laws of physics don't work the way you think it should work, or the universe. It doesn't work that out of the way. It can be more fantastic or even more crazy than you could have ever imagined. But we now know that the universe doesn't have a beginning or an end. How do we know the universe don't have a beginning or an end? Because we see what's called cosmic microwave backgrounds. We've been noticing that our universe has an anti-universe. There's a remnant of another universe before this universe, before that universe, blah, blah, blah. So they're now saying, oh my goodness, this thing don't have a beginning or an end. Right? There are two types of prayer. Prayer to God, communion prayer, and getting things in love. I listen to affirmations. Second I wake up, slightly still coming out of sleep. Flow in my day works every day. Yep, it does, because you're in that hypnotic state. You can do that. Turn your super chat. I'm trying to donate to you. Next time I'll turn a super chat on. Thank you though. What's the best way to ask for assistance from our spirit guides? and our angels. Um, does repetition without feelings can create? Yes, I'll get the best way to ask for anything, guys, you want is in a state of declaration or command. Don't like ask timid. Remember, you're actually talking to yourself. Whenever you ask for something, you think you're asking a God, or you're asking your own self, your subconscious higher part of yourself. So it means whenever you're going to ask for something, ask in your own fashion way, like you ask for anything. For example, I want something, I'll say, hey, show me how to do this, or I'll do this. I'll say, hey, you know that thing I wanted, and I'll think about the thing in my head because I already know me. It's me. It knows me already, and I'll just say, you know that thing I wanted. Hey, create an easy way for me to get that. That's how I do it. Works every time. See, I don't have to do it. Oh, please. That's how you ask for stuff. Just like that, because you're really asking yourself. The bottom line is you're really talking to yourself, guys. All right, the thing about repetition now, let me see that one there. Okay. Okay, does repetition without feeling can create? Yes. So you can actually, in the beginning, you can not believe what you want, but if you keep repeating it over and over again, it's going to start to become a belief, and then you're going to get the feeling of that. So that's how you create new beliefs. Someone says it, you're God of your own universe. That's correct. Can you explain the difference between the higher self and the subconscious? Yes. So the higher self would be the non-physical part of you. So let me give you an example again. So let's use this plane, right? When we talk about the time stuff, let's see. Time here on this sheet of paper. So we have, let's use this as your universe. This is your universe here. This is your universe here, right? All your timelines exist in here. The person that's looking down would be you, your higher self, the non-physical part, and then you have the physical part of you down here. The non-physical part is communicating with the physical part to help you navigate. And the higher self now helps you to navigate through your subconscious mind. So it talks, it gets messages to your subconscious, then your subconscious works through your intuition and to help you to navigate your life. So that's the difference between the higher self and the subconscious. Higher self sees the entire picture, gives the map to the subconscious navigates it. And remember now, the subconscious, even though the subconscious is on this plane, the subconscious can also see the entire plane because it's infinite as well. But it takes commands from the higher self, because remember, the subconscious can't think for itself. It's illogical. Also, the subconscious can take information from your conscious mind. So this is why you have to be careful to know if it's your higher self or your ego. And this is where practice and knowing yourself comes in, so you can master this. Why so much emphasis on Jesus with Christians? Yeah, that's a great question. The answer may shock you. I don't even think you're ready for that about Jesus. I'm not even getting to that right now. We have to go in baby steps. I don't want to blow people's minds because it'll shock them. You got any great books recommend? What is this? You know, I'll say one thing about how this stuff works. So you ever hear the words when they say the Son of Man? When they say the sun rises in the east, he rises in the east, sets in the west. Did you know they were literally talking about the physical sun? So you notice the Bible puts the Son of Man and gave him a physical name like Jesus. That's all I'm going to say on that one. You can do research on that to see ancient humans before the Bible was written. Before, you know, you got to ask yourself, guys, and this will open your eyes. You got to remember something, guys. We invented Christianity. We invented the word God. We invented the idea of this person sitting on the throne and all this stuff. We invented that stuff. Did you know that? Because I'm going to ask you a question. What happened before religion came onto this planet? Human beings existed hundreds of thousands of years before religion. I hope you knew that. So what about the ancient people? They didn't have a Bible. They didn't know about this figment that was created by the Romans and the Vatican. So you got to ask yourself, what was this like before this stuff came into? So I got to give you a clue to let you know that, okay, some of this stuff has to be made up. I don't think people don't even think of that. People think like religion was always here. Religion was created, it was fairly new, guys. You have been here longer than religion. So you got to ask yourself, okay, so what were these ancient people? Did these ancient people have a god? Did they? Well, now we're getting somewhere. Now you got to go do the research. Now you got to go look at certain people like the Dogons and Kemets, and go look at these different tribes, and they were isolated. They were cut off from the rest of the world. How did they think? How about the Hopi Indians, and how did they interpret God, and how did they pray and all this stuff without knowing about Jesus and God? Because these were hundreds of thousands of years before the Romans came and invented this stuff, man. What did they know that they had some kind of spiritual? The answer is yes. These people innately knew that they were already part of this universe. They didn't like need someone to invent something to tell them that. They automatically knew without knowing it, because you see it in their transcripts, you see in their writings, you see how they knew the exact trajectory of the planets. They knew that they're a part of the universe. Somehow these people knew that the universe was already in them, from the Hopi Indians, the Dogons, and especially prehistoric. They knew this stuff. So that tells me that innately there was some type of program that was put into us to let us know who we truly are before this stuff came into existence, before they wrote the Bible, before they wrote all type of religions, all of that stuff. You innately knew who you were, man. That's what I want to leave you with, so you can think. I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm just here to make you open your mind to think. You will convince yourself. I'm showing you some facts here from the Egyptians. Probably many of you don't even know that the Bible, somebody say your Bible, the first books of the Bible was actually from the Egyptians. That's right. Did you know the Ten Commandments was taken from some of the books of the dead of the Egyptians? They didn't tell you that. Did you know that? The story of Noah, taken from the story of a lot of stuff like Gilgamesh and all of these stuff. See that, guys? So, you got to expand your mind and be open-minded. Yes, 6,000 years old. All right, check this out. Let me put this in perspective to you. Entire human civilization is only 0.04% of the entire timeline of the earth. Okay, let me make it simple for you. If we have to put this in time of when humans exist on the earth, a second hasn't even been gone yet. The earth, let's say the earth existed like 2 hours. We haven't even existed a second yet. So think about that. The earth is 2 hours old, and you and the history of humans is only not even 1 second yet. That's to make it easy for you to understand. What happened in 2 hours? The earth has a completely 2-hour history that we haven't even been here 1 second yet. So the big implication is we don't even know a lot of what happened before. We make stuff up, man. See that? Think about that. The Dogon tribe in Mali had knowledge of the solar system from a group of spiritual named the Nomos. That's correct. And to touch on that, the nomads, these groups that came there, they showed them the maps of the stars. They showed them the exact trajectory of where Neptune, Venus, Mars was. Today, guess what? We have satellites and we go into this space and we see it was correct. How did these people know this stuff? They didn't have planes. So it tells you that either there were other beings visiting the earth before us, millions and billions of years before us, and they don't want. See, that goes against religion, because religion will say if that. See, what the thing about the thing, I'm gonna tell you why religion is gonna die. Christian religion, and it's going to shake people up. And it's a big fight right now. I'm going to tell you why it's going to really, religion right now is struggling, because the more science get advanced, now we got the James Webb Telescope. Now we're going to find different worlds with life. But I already knew that was, see, with these UAP stuff happening and the government hiding all this stuff, it's getting to a tricky point now that religion now has to come up with a new game plan. Because what religion says is there's only one God that created everything, and it's only us. Now they have to change the game plan now. So they got to come up with a new game. They got to be like, damn, people are going to discover that maybe aliens were their creators, or maybe other beings. There is no God. We have to come up with something now to tell them that, oh, all along, yeah, we made a mistake. Yeah, God created aliens too. I mean, what they say, the pot's going to hit the fire? Generation Z ain't falling for religion. That's correct. And it's coming to a point right now where it's going to shift your whole paradigm, guys. When you realize, like, what if we were actually the creation of some other higher beings? Just like we observe our animals here in the wild, what if they're observing us? What if they, created us? They modified our genetics. What if they came here when we were Homo erectus and we were Homo habilis, and we were primitive humans, and they took their DNA and they interacted with our DNA, and that explains the mystery of chromosome number 2, how it advanced so much that we're able to have empathy and love and all. What if that really happened, man? Because now the evolution says they can't even, epidemiologists, biologists now have no explanation for how chromosome number 2 became so advanced within a span of a couple thousand years. It takes millions of years. What if they came and just did that? And what if the Bible was written from that and they took that and made it like a God? What if the Bible is a book of just symbolisms? Did you know that? All of this would shock people's minds, man. It would collapse the entire structure of our beliefs. But it has to happen. It's going to happen because things are going to change. And this is the fight right now. Like, religion is really fighting to hold stuff back. But you're seeing evidence of it right now. You're living in great times. You're living in a time when someone says that truth is stranger than fiction. I mean, we're living in tremendous times, guys. We're living in times now where we understand the process of nature of reality, the atom. We now know the brain, how it sees things in vibrations and frequencies. We understand now that there's different dimensions. We now know that there's not a universe anymore. There's a multiverse. We know now that the universe doesn't have a beginning or an end. Now we know that there's other Earth-like planets with habitable life forms now. We're seeing all that on the cusp, man. The tremendous times now are changing. We're understanding the connection between the mind and the body. We now can know what you call the placebo effect. We know that your thoughts affect your DNA. Did you know that your thoughts, when you think a thought, it communicates with your DNA, and your DNA creates 2 types of proteins. Either it creates a protein that's anti-inflammatory, or it creates an inflammatory protein. Did you know that the way you think can make you sick? Did you know that? We now know that. Whoa! So thoughts affect the components of the DNA, because now we know that it creates a protein. The protein it creates is called stress. Cortisol develops from that. This was recently discovered. What else they're discovering? Man, they're discovering now about consciousness and the process of death. They're now discovering what's called microtubules that exist in the neurons, the synapses of your brain. At the instant of death, they notice that this vibration of energy goes back into the universe, and then when the person is resuscitated from a near-death experience, that information comes back into them, and they're understanding that, wait a minute, what if we are all just information? Every single human being is a part of a qubit or what you call a pixel of information, and the whole universe might be an information. You might be information. Well, you are information. Your cells communicate through information. Your DNA is information. The entire makeup of your body is information. All this stuff, what else they've discovered? Well, they now start to discover that, whoa, this may be a holographic universe analogous. And I'll give an example of what that means. What they discover now is the universe might be actually a 2-dimensional surface, but yet we see things in a 3-dimensional world. Our consciousness might be projecting from somewhere else that we have no clue about. How they notice? Well, this is black holes. Black hole gets a hole here, is event horizon. When information goes in as light, it doesn't really go into the black hole, it gets spit around the surface. So because it gets spit around the surface, you can technically take that information and bring it back, which says there is no 3Ds, everything is 2-dimensional, but yet we see things in 3-dimensional. Did you know any of that stuff? All the stuff I just said to you are proven, are theoretically science. Okay? Many people don't even know this. So you're living in a time where it's profound. Somebody says dead people know what's up. Yeah, I know Dolores Cannon, yes. So at this time, we understand the mind and body connection more than ever in history. Now we know that we are products of our subconscious program. And now we know how to fix our life. Now we know that we can target our subconscious. Now we know we can rewire our brain. Now we know that we can manifest non-physical into physical things, because now we understand the nature of the atom and how particles work. Now we see that, whoa, everything is really nothing. It's masking as an illusion. We didn't know this like 70 years ago. A lot of people still don't know this. But that's empowering information that if you receive this information, it's going to empower you, because now you're going to understand, like, oh man, this guy's just telling me and showing me that, wow, I really got the power to change my life, man. I don't have to sweat like external stuff. I don't have to believe like the mainstream media, what they're telling me. As a matter of fact, they're just trying to keep me away from doing that, which is true. All right? See how that works? Yeah, the only key to manifesting is being in a flow state. Why is it important for us to keep our minds open? Because if you don't keep your minds open, if you don't lose it, it goes dormant. It's very important to keep your mind open, because your brain is a filtering machine. When you don't keep your mind open, you're going to miss opportunities right in front of your face, point blank. You're going to be more easily programmed by the matrix if you can't keep your mind open. You ever hear the saying, a one-track mind? You can't even see the truth, even if you wanted to see the truth. That's the reason to keep your mind open. When you keep your mind open, you're going to have more opportunities to see the truth and better stuff coming in your life. When you keep your mind closed, you're going to be a bot or an NPC, non-player character. You're so easy to control. And if you look at it, guys, that's what school and the mainstream and social media is doing. They're teaching people to be one-track mind, and people don't even know it. People are being programmed and hypnotized. They don't even know it themselves. And I can show you I'll show you how simple it is, how they do this stuff. So how do they keep, you know how they keep you to have a one-track mind? It's very simple. If I want to create a system where I can control people and have them keep a one-track mind, this is what I'll do, and this is what they're doing to you. First thing I would do is I would cater to people's ego. Everyone wants to feel good. Everyone wants to feel accepted. Everyone wants to fit in. So what I'll do is I'll create a system where I start to just show people what beauty should look like, who you should follow, what you should make your model your life after. Because if I could do that, the more I could do that, the less they'll have an open mind, because they're going to be too concerned with trying to fit in. That's how they get you. So what they do, they create this glamorous matrix where they put their celebrities on you, where they put the reality TV shows on you, where they put the music on you, where they put the Instagram models and the filters and how you got to look in your sports and da-da-da. And then because you have an ego, you want to fit in. They know that. We're going to use against them their own minds. That's what they do to you. So now, because you have friends and people around you, you want to be accepted. You don't want to be like, man, I got to dress like that. I got to go look like. See, you're too busy focusing on other people. That's the formula, guys. That's all they do. That's how they keep you in a one-track mind. Why? But how does that keep my mind one-track mind? Because it doesn't allow your mind to be a free thinker. Remember what I said? If you don't lose it, it's going to go dormant. So the more I'm focusing on this stuff, the less I'm focusing on expanding my mind. That means a part of my brain is actually going to shut down. It's going to actually go into sleep. And that means I'm going to be more easily controlled. That means when they tell me something, I'm going to instantly believe it. I'm not even going to question it anymore. I'm not going to say, well, let me do my research. No, you don't need to do research. Take it from us. We're the experts. And I'm going to be like, oh, okay, yeah. Because I have lost the ability to free think. Because I shut it asleep. And the mainstream media comes in. Now the news will tell me, hey, do this. This is happening. Listen to your government. Do da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, yes, I got to go do that. Oh, let me go do that. Because it's the authorities. They know better. And then my friends will tell me, yeah, man, the news says it's true, so it must be true. See, I don't have the ability to think, so I'm going to easily more fluff. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Gotcha. That's how they get you. They get you with what makes you jump, your ego. And then, oh, let's talk about the stuff what about the food now? They get you with that. There's certain foods they put out now. It does a different reaction to your brain. Makes you addictive. They get you with that. They can hit you from so many angles. So many angles. And they do it so smooth that many people don't even know that they're plugged in. People don't even know they're plugged in. So you have to be awake. You have to be a free thinker, guys. You gotta have an open mind. When people say stuff, don't just shut it down and be like, oh, that's bullshit. When people talk, just ask yourself, well, let me see if this is possible. I'm not just gonna stick to what I learned and all that stuff. Do certain diet and food help your subconscious mind? Absolutely, yes. Let me talk about the ones that don't help your subconscious or help you. Too much caffeine. I would suggest cut out caffeine. That has a very bad effect on your mind over time. I know it, right? That's how the Matrix gets you. They use caffeine. It's addictive. It messes up your gut, makes you nervous, creates a whole lot of havoc. That's a food you got to be careful of. Sugary stuff, lots of sugary stuff. Not good. Processed foods, stay away from them as much as possible. There's things like that, I always tell people I drink everything lukewarm. My water is lukewarm. I don't put anything in fridge, freezer, cold stuff. Nope. What I do is, like, I understand something. I understood how my body evolved over thousands of years, and I knew that, okay, my body is naturally made for this. So I kind of go back to the blueprint of what the body was made to do. Not because I have technology and I have a cold fridge, I could put my cold juice in there. I look at, okay, how did my body evolve to adapt? Back in the day when you were evolving, there was no fridge. So my body was naturally used to drinking warm or lukewarm water because it made the microbes in my gut better. But now because I have a fridge and the water is refreshing, if I drink that, my body didn't evolve to accept cold water. It's still going to be in a state. So the more I drink these stuff, I destroy the gut bacteria in my gut. See, you don't know that. So stuff like that, I just look at the way my body naturally developed, and natural stuff like that. You can do little things to tweak and change your life. Like, you got to get your trace minerals. Your minerals. People don't understand the importance of minerals. Potassium, zinc, magnesium. All these minerals that you need. They're very, very depleted in the soil. You need those minerals because those minerals are what creates the electrical spark in your body. Those are what power the cell. Those give the charges to make your heart pump, to give you life, man. Minerals are the juice for electricity. We are depleted in a lot of that. Vitamins, depleted in a lot of that. And there's not like a big education system out there to teach people, hey, why don't you change your diet? What they do, they just push medicines on you. I'm mentoring a doctor right now. She's a doctor. She's a pediatric doctor. She's been there for like 25 years as a doctor. And we were talking about the diet. And I helped her. She's a doctor. And I showed her some stuff to help her. She's a doctor. And I asked her a question. I said, when you're in medical school, they don't teach you about dietitian? She said, no. She said, when we go to medical school, it's politics. They don't, doctors weren't taught, doctors weren't taught to heal the body naturally. They're taught to use medicine. I'm coming from a doctor. And she said she knew this, and she, as you know, as she's going through a spiritual awakening, she like started watching her diet, and she says, I want to help my patients, and I talk to my patients, but we can get in trouble for telling our patients to use natural remedies. Think about that, man. She's been pressured and geared to prescribe prescriptions. She's gotten to the point now that she doesn't even know if she want to be a doctor anymore, because now she's seeing the truth and she's understanding, like, man, I got to go find my own way, because, you know, I see how this stuff work. Simple stuff I told her, hey, the probiotics. I told her, hey, cut out the caffeine. A doctor. None of this was taught to them. Modern doctors is politics. She meant, the thing she told me, Mark, we are told to push medicine. Even if I knew there was a natural stuff, I can't do that. I would get in trouble by my superior. I have to push medicine. Now look, there comes a point when, yes, doctors may be helpful. Surgery, things like that, where you got to go in the body, and that's perfectly fine. But I believe, I'd say about 80 to 90% of all disease can be preventable by the foods we eat, the way we think, and how we feel. I believe that. And science is starting to show that now. The way we think, the way we feel affect how our body's cells divide in our environment. I mean, that's documented and show that right now. The mental health will determine your physical health. The way you see yourself in your head will determine the physical structure of how you see yourself in your body. You know that through the placebo effect. And it involves the food we eat. So the food you eat plays a tremendous role in your health. But of course, that's not the agenda. Not only the food you eat, but how often you eat. Now let's go back to how we develop fasting. What about, Mark? What about the regular breakfast, lunch, and dinner? That was made up. Food pyramid, made up. That's made up. You know what human beings did? They ate when they felt hungry. That's it. Whenever they feel hungry, that's when they eat. They didn't have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Thousands of years ago, you think your body was developing to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Your body developed so that I can conserve. The less I eat, the more I can conserve. Remember, your brain wants to conserve. You know, the more you eat, the more energy your brain spends. You get more sluggish. Inflammation builds up. You know that? When I knew that, I cut out food pyramid. I was like, man, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to go with my body says. Whenever I feel like eat, I eat. Body has a natural thing. Okay, Mark, it's 10 a.m., 11 a.m. You feel like eating good. Mark, it's 3 p.m. You feel like eating good. Okay, Mark, that's all I'm eating for the rest of the day. That's it. Adapted my body to that. You have to do that what's unique for your body. So look, again, guys, I'm just showing you big picture here. I'm just showing you that everything is relative to what works for you. You can't just go and listen to what everybody says and says, oh, you got to do the food pyramid. You got to have this, you got to have that. Listen, man, there's things you need. Yeah, you need your minerals, you need your vitamins. But the less you eat, the longer you're going to live. Less frequency, the longer you're going to live. It's a simple math. The more stuff you eat, the more your body's going to digest, the more you're going to create inflammation. The less you eat, the less toxins are going to build up, the less your arteries are going to be clogged, the more your body can revive and build up all these called free radicals to help you. That's why fasting is so powerful. because it tricks the body that the body's in starvation mode. What happens when the body's in starvation mode, it renews itself, completely renews the gut, all the cells, like rebuilding itself. That's a defense mechanism in the body. That's why people, when they go on a big manifestation, they say, I'm going to go on a fast, man. I'm going to go on a two-day fast. You know, I know people that do 78 hours fast. I can't do that. I'm not good at doing 78-hour fast, but I know somebody that can do that. I just fast. I intermittent fast probably every day, because I only eat twice a day. You know, I may have breakfast like 9, 10 a.m., 11, that's it. Then I may have my dinner at 3 p.m. the latest, and after that I don't eat anything else until the next day around 10, 11 a.m. So that's my lifestyle, and that helps me tremendously. More clarity, you know, just makes your body more who you are. My brain now has more ability to focus because it's not clogged up with digesting my food. My dreams become vivid. You get prophetic dreams. You get more downloads now because you have more DMT being produced, you know, oxytocin, these different chemicals, feel dopamine, serotonin. These are the chemicals that are, by the way, these are all produced in your gut, if you didn't know that. So you see how important it is. Gotta have the right microbes in the gut, and then, you know, once everything is fueled, looking good, it will help your manifestation, guys. Yes, it definitely helps. It helps your overall enjoyment of life. You know, that's the thing about this stuff. You know, it helps. It's not like the one thing that fixes all stuff, but it's like a big percentage to help you create your life. You know, and again, this is not like a fad. This is a lifestyle you got to do. Probiotics, you got to know to get those bacteria in, the good bacteria, and because your body, I mean, I'll show you something fascinating that you may not know. You know where you came from? Someone asked me a question, how did human beings evolve? From a bacteria. You are more bacteria. Did you know you're more bacteria than you are human? Did you know that? You are more bacteria than you are human. There are more bacteria in your entire body than there are people on the entire earth. 10 times over. Be that, more bacteria in your entire body than there are people on the entire earth. 10 times over. Good and bad bacteria. But what they do, they exist together in harmony. They balance each other out. What happens now, when the gut loses the good bacteria, you don't have the soldiers to fight. So the bad bacteria takes over. That's why people have digestion problems, you know, can't sleep. All that is the gut stuff. I'm surprised there's no, like, I don't see people talking about probiotics or gut health a lot. You know, it's so scarce, man. But you know my take on this, guys, and I told you I discovered this a few years ago. I discovered that we manifest through our gut. Our gut is what manifests stuff. The subconscious sends information to the gut. The gut goes out because the gut produces these chemicals, and the gut has put all these energies out there. That's why, notice, where does feeling come from? Your gut. Intuition, your gut. When you feel stuff, it's in the gut. You've all had it before. You get that queasy feeling like something ain't right in your gut. Something ain't right. We have too much caffeine, is going to mess up the signal. You're going to get more nervous stuff in your gut, and your gut's going to think that's what you want. It's going to manifest like a lot of nervous situations in your life. I'm speaking from experience because that happened with me with caffeine. I used to drink a lot of caffeine, and I always used to get like nervous and queasy. And I noticed like my experience in my life would be like manifesting nervous and queasy stuff. When I cut out caffeine, my reality changed. I was like, that was profound. It was like, I was shocked. I was like, God dang, my gut created my reality. That simple thing, I didn't even know that. And I stopped caffeine, man. I slept better. And the thing about caffeine too is, it makes you feel like you're dependent on it because it becomes an addict. It's actually a drug. And people think, well, Mark, I need my caffeine, man, because I'm so stressed and all this stuff. I don't have the energy. But what you don't understand is, guys, when you got it, well, you're gonna have to go through that withdrawal period. I went through it a couple weeks, maybe a month. You're gonna get the headaches and the feeling. But once you overcome that, guys, you're gonna have more natural energy than you can ever imagine, than like a Red Bull or anything like that. I didn't even know that. I thought like, man, if I stop my caffeine, I'm gonna be like lethargic. I was like that for a couple of weeks, but after that, man, I just felt like this natural. I would jump out of bed like this. It's like, wow, where's this coming from? And then you know what else? What I'll do? I'll just drink some. I just take some water like this. Boom, instant energy. That can only happen when you cut out caffeine, though. You're not gonna get energy with caffeine and drink water. It's not gonna work. Because the stimulant is going to override the natural properties of the oxygen and oxygen in the water that's natural. It replenishes you. But when you cut caffeine, man, this is my Red Bull right here. Just drink a sip of that, you. Right up. See how it works? Mark, when is the Manifest for Quantum Physics coming out in the Netherlands? I'm going to work on that. You could get an ebook and the audio version. That's correct. Somebody says this correct here. Golden melon. That's right. Did you know that she's correct? That's right. 70% at minimum of our immune system cells live in your gut. Your immune system lives in your gut. 50 billion live cultures is what I take daily. Yeah, I'll help you guys give you a good one to take. Let me see if I can find it here. I always have this. Where's this one here? This one is 150 billion. This is the one right here. Get this at GNC. It's natural. If you want to manifest and get a breakthrough, you got to go with this one. It's 150 billion. And man, I tell you, it's like a new game when you take that, man. Your gut is like whoosh, harmony, man. You feel so much like, man, I can't even describe the feeling. Take one a day. It's a little bit expensive, but it works. It's a veggie capsule. It goes right into, because the thing you see with a lot of probiotics, what you don't understand with a lot of probiotics is, if you take like the 50 billion one and all that stuff, like 20 billion, 30 billion, whatever they put on there, like 20 billion cultures, what you don't understand is by the time you take it, half of those cultures are killed by stomach acid before it even gets into your gut. So yeah, 20 billion, what's actually going into your gut is like maybe a million or 5 million. When you take, like what I take was 150 billion, and it's, you know, with the veggie capsule, when you take it now, the capsule soaks up a lot of the stomach acid, so it protects it. So now you get all that culture going right into your gut. And when those go into your gut, man, you're gonna notice the difference. You're gonna be in a better mood. Because did you know your gut controls your mood, your anxiety, your depression, or everything? Your sleep. Did you know that? Yeah. Your gut does all that stuff, people. Your gut is contained in what's called the enteric nervous system. It's like a mini brain in your gut. So, should I take probiotics when doing water fast? Yeah, the ones I show you there, you won't get, nothing will affect your gut. You won't feel like crazy or weird or anything like that. They're just natural bacteria that was supposed to be in your gut from when you were from the earth, from the dirt. So let me show you something. The reason why our guts are so depleted, right? Because back then, human beings in the early days, like thousands of years, they used to eat like stuff with dirt, and a lot of the good bacteria that lives in the dirt. So remember when human beings killed their food, it was dirt. Remember, they didn't have sanitizer back then. So they eat with their hands. And remember, your hands, by the way, has billions of bacteria that help your gut to digest food. If you didn't know that, you got to eat with your hands, clean. But when you eat the food, right, they have the dirt in there. So the dirt will get in your gut and these bacteria in there. But now, because we're modernized, we don't eat the dirt anymore. So we have these new systems. So our guts depleted naturally now, with medicine and all the stuff we take, it really messes up your ability to manifest. So that's why you got to take these supplements or natural stuff to balance that out. So that's interesting to know. Yeah, I'll say one more before I go here. Yeah, when it comes to manifesting, yeah, overthinking is your worst enemy. You don't want to overthink anything. Overthinking is a product of the ego. Yeah, you can get these. You can get these probiotics from yogurt, plain yogurt, but they're minimum stuff. And if you want to build your mood up, or if you want to have more, just for people, if you notice that you're struggling with like mood or being happy or finding to be more motivated, then all you have to do is every morning when you wake up, you just drink a little bit of lukewarm water, and then have a banana. The banana has antidepressive materials in there, or proteins, or chemicals that balances out your mood. The banana is very powerful. It has potassium. It also coats your gut, protects your gut. It also raises your mood level. If you eat a banana every day, every morning, you're going to notice your moods are going to be better. Simple things like that you can use to enhance your life. I manifest with imagination, but how do I heal physical pain? Well, you know, imagination will heal physical pain. I get what you're saying. You're feeling the physical pain, but it's all going to come from inside the head first. So you have to, even though you're experiencing the physical pain, you have to become aware that the physical pain can change based on the mental image you put in your head. So you have to see yourself natural without the pain, and you got to stick at that, and that's going to change it. Don't focus on the physical pain. Focus more on the head. I know it's going to be tough because you're in pain, but it's something you have to balance and try to do. Yeah, your gut is for your intuition. That's correct. But I want to say something. Look, when it comes to manifesting, all right, and creating, get out of the overthinking game, because your mind will always try to overthink. Your mind will try to think like, well, how ahead? Remember, guys, it's a figment of its own imagination. It doesn't exist. So catch your mind, and you literally tell your mind, stop. Just say this: hey, 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 stop overthinking. I'll figure it out as I go. Those magic words will cut it off, and you're gonna find your life so much more happier. All right, that's what I'm gonna leave you guys with today. I'll see you again in a couple weeks. Thank you.